Tim can't believe that Lucy got a dog. He worries it will distract her from work and be too much responsibility. Meanwhile, Jackson vents to Angela about Lucy's new pet, clearly sharing Tim's concern. Tim and Lucy visit a couple's house. The husband is upset because his wife has been tanning over the past few days, and a drone keeps hovering overhead. He complains that everyone is hitting on her. When she jokingly invites Tim to watch her tan, the husband flies into a rage and accuses Tim of hitting on his wife. Elsewhere, Angela and Jackson come across a man who appears drunk on the street. When they confront him, they realize blood is pouring from his groin. He may have been shot in the head. At the same time, John and Harper are chasing a suspect who runs into an abandoned warehouse. The suspect suddenly charges back at them after discovering a dead body inside one of the rooms. Angela and Jackson rush the shooting victim to the hospital, while John and Harper examine the crime scene with the dead man. Armstrong is also on the case. Meanwhile, Lucy and Tim stop by her apartment to check on her new dog and find that he's completely torn the place apart. Armstrong, John, and Harper track down a man who has been staying at a local residence for a few days. His room is filled with new shoes and stacks of money, and it looks like he has a roommate. When the roommate appears and sees the officers, he bolts. John gives chase and finally catches up to him on the street just as Lucy and Tim arrive to help. When John confronts the suspect, Tim recognizes him. They served in the military together. Back at the precinct, Tim asks his friend what's going on. The man is evasive and claims he didn't even know his roommate was dead. As Tim and Lucy leave the precinct, Tim explains that their suspect had served with him in Afghanistan, and it was Tim's actions during their deployment that are the reason the man now has a prosthetic leg. The sergeant calls Angela and Jackson into his office, proudly announcing that he's solved 2 of their cases while sitting there. He explains that a teenage boy had his drone shot down by an angry husband, a situation that might be connected to the man who was found with a bullet in his head. Tim's former war buddy fills the team in on their victim, Joe. Apparently, Joe was involved in counterfeiting money, and someone came after him. Following this lead, the team heads to a warehouse. They expect to find printing machines, but the space is empty. While investigating, John discovers a piece of paper with the name of a security company. He recalls speaking with a technician from the same company who had recently been fixing a street camera. They radio the sergeant, who immediately tells them to return to the station. Once back, they're informed that the case has been taken over by a higher authority, the Fed, and they are no longer allowed to work on it. Despite the restriction, the team quietly continues following the leads without telling the sergeant. Later, Jackson comes home and notices Lucy's dog. The little pup looks adorable, softening Jackson's mood until he enters his bedroom and sees the damage the dog has done, leaving the room completely destroyed. Tim lets his former war buddy out of jail. He's furious, not just that his friend Joe is dead, but also that the team is no longer allowed to work the case. Soon after, Tim receives a call from a secret source he had reached out to about the investigation. It turns out the matter is a national issue. The team decides to take the night to weigh whether it's worth risking their jobs to pursue a case that is technically no longer theirs. Meanwhile, a mysterious man shows up at John's house. He knows that Tim called clear to get information about the case and warns John that he and his team need to back off. Moments later, Tim, Harper, and Lucy arrive at John's apartment. They were prepared. They recorded the encounter and discreetly attached a tracking device to the man, hoping he will lead them to the missing counterfeit money. As they stake out the situation, Lucy and Tim have a quiet moment. Tim confides that his war buddy lost his leg because he had cut him some slack when he was a sergeant, a decision he now regrets. Tim and the team move closer to the pallets, and just as Tim peeks inside, they find themselves surrounded. The bad guys close in, but Harper reveals that they have a sniper in position, and it's Angela. Tim speaks with the leader alongside Harper, making it clear that all they want is the killer of their victim. They aren't after the counterfeit operation or the money. Under pressure, their lead man surrenders one of the men, who looks disappointed at being handed over. Later that night, they report to the sergeant that they have the victim's killer. It turns out they found him down at the docks. The sergeant is skeptical, but heads back to bed. Meanwhile, Tim takes Lucy's dog, since she's not quite ready for the responsibility. Armstrong pulls John aside, warning him that he can't keep crossing the line. Tim reconnects with his war buddy, having secured him a legitimate job. His friend is genuinely happy and grateful for the opportunity. What did you think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below.